Marshall, and I'm 25 years old. I come from a background of performance in dance, musical theater, figure skating, and for the past 10 years, my family has owned and operated a dance studio in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So that's been a lot of fun. And my singing journey began pretty much in 2015 when I was in a chorus line and I had a small solo role. And I realized I really needed some work on my voice and my carriage and just kind of like myself as a whole as a singer in that part. So I've been singing now for about 2 years.
Can you describe yourself at the start of your singing journey, so to speak?
Well, I was really comfortable with my chest voice, as I think most inexperienced singers are. We're just really used to speaking that way. And there were some high notes in the piece that I was really uncomfortable with, and they were making me really nervous. And I think coming from a dance and skating background, you don't have to use your voice much. So when it came to really singing a solo part in musical theater, that was kind of nerve wracking for me.
Can you speak to what reservations you had, or concerns or worries, or maybe even objections, in your mind?
My mom is an amazing researcher, and she's actually the one that found you. And I told her, Mom, I really need someone that is going to help me learn to hone my skills, because I realized that I could understand pitch. I could kind of just like I'd hear the note and then I'd be able to sing it, but I wasn't able to really do it with the right technique. And so when we found your website, I was like, oh, he has all the tools that I'm kind of looking for to understand my voice better. And I feel like before I just didn't have a sense of how to control what I was trying to do. I was really interested in how you were talking about the breathing, because that's something that I just wasn't doing at all. Just in watching those YouTube videos, I could really see that this was going to answer a lot of my questions.
Was there something specifically about your voice that was like causing, a pit in your stomach?
Well, it was a really high part of the song, and it was in the opening number, and it was a really short little segment, but it was all head voice, and that was really scary because I was like, I'm not going to ever be able to project. Even though I'm mic'd, I don't think anybody's going to be able to hear me. I was so nervous to sing. Like, I was nervous for anybody to hear that, because I thought, I can't do this. Like, I can hum in the car, I can sing in the shower, but nobody's going to pay for a ticket to come hear me sing. Like, I don't have that type of voice. So I was really nervous to even explore a little bit of that. So I didn't think that I had the type of voice that could be worked with.
Katie, what pushed you along so that you kind of got through that with that fear?
I was like, oh yeah, let's do this exercise. Oh, you're right, I could breathe this way instead of that way. Or yeah, I am going to try it again. And it was never about me being one of those people that was trying to be a singer. It was just about, this is your voice, this is your muscle, let's work it out. And that was kind of a great approach, because it wasn't super intimidating. It was like, you can do this. You have all the things in your body that need to produce this sound. You just need to know how to use the tools to make it happen. And so that was really exciting.
Did you ever doubt yourself at all?
I guess the only doubt I really felt was like, am I going to be able to calm my nerves enough to sing? But I really trusted the process. Just the difference when I was teaching dance classes, like the way that I would be able to speak loudly or just carry my voice through teaching, I noticed that that was stronger. And then when I would go to practice my music, that was stronger. Because before it was very strained, and I didn't know that I was straining my voice. And it was so tight, and I would get these like little tight pains in here, and I didn't know why. And it was after I was teaching or after I was singing or something. And then after the first few weeks of doing those exercises, that just went away.
Something happened to you that was you went to New York and you did some competitions out there.
Well, I was auditioning for a panel of judges who they were different agents and casting directors for all different parts of the entertainment industry. A lot of them were for modeling, Some of them were for film, some strictly acting, strictly dancing, and strictly music. But there were quite a few musical theaters. So the New York Film Academy was one of the schools that was there. New York Conservatory of Dramatic Arts was there, and a couple of other places as well, and just different people. So we would get up and we would have to do a monologue. We had to do a comedy improv. We did commercials. We did singing. I did the dancing. And so I made it all the way through to the final round. I didn't make it into the top three, but each time you sit in front of these judges, and one of the people that was there was from the original cast of Miss Saigon, which was crazy because the song that I was singing was "I'd Give My Life for You" from Miss Saigon. So it was kind of, I didn't know that until after the first round, and he came up to me and he was like, "Oh, you did a really good job with that song." And I just thought, "Oh, that's nice." And he's like, "I was in the original cast of Miss Saigon," and I was like, "Oh." So that was kind of crazy, but there were hundreds of people there auditioning for this, so to be picked to be part of that final 20 was really, really special, and it was so difficult to prepare for that because of the nerves. So in knowing that I had like an arsenal of techniques that I could deal with, because I was sick the week before, and so I was able to get through all the rounds of the singing with all of that. So that was really cool, and I ended up getting scholarships to both the New York Conservatory, the New York Film Academy, invited to 3 castings. One was for Disney, for Disney parks, Disney cruise ships, and then BET Network. So that was really exciting.
Well,
So that was like a week-long craziness, but it was great.
what do you feel was the real contribution then to what you had done vocally to prepare that really helped you do as well in those auditions as you did?
The physical preparation, I felt really solid with my breathing techniques, my warm-up techniques, singing the song, making sure that I was making the right shape with my mouth to get the certain notes, to make sure I was using the right spaces in my body to produce these notes. But also mentally, I think that that's probably the most important thing when you're going into an audition or a performance, is the mental game. And if you are crumbling on the inside, it's not going to go well no matter how prepared you are. But I felt so comfortable with what we were prepared to do, and it was really a step-by-step process. I mean, you said this is how you're going to start, this is how you're going to walk in. We talked about the feeling that I needed to have for each part of the song, and so that really put me into character. And suddenly I wasn't like, "Oh, I'm Katie Marshall and I'm super worried about going to perform." I was like, "I am this person that is singing about this event in my life, and this song is gonna go through with that." Like I said, I think that's like more than half the battle, is being able to just kind of calm yourself and do it.
Was there another thing where you like won first place in something?
Yes, so I got into the final round of the singing. There was some really heavy competition. It was amazing. There were amazing singers there. And so going back to my very low confidence in my singing ability, I couldn't believe that I was with any of those finalists, because I went from not thinking I could sing at all to being with like the top 5 or 6. I think I came in the lineup, it was like 5th or something, which was great out of hundreds of people. So I didn't quite make it to the podium for that, but I won first in comedy improv, and commercial, I think I won second, and then in dance, I got a scholarship. So in each aspect of competition, I did rather well. And the singing was what I was most nervous about. So I was expecting to bomb immediately and then be like, "No." But I made it through all the steps, and really it just came down to the 3 strongest singers were the top 3, and I was not far behind. So that was a huge surprise.
What would have happened had you not done all this preparation, do you think?
If I hadn't had any preparation, I think I wouldn't have done as well at all. I think that I probably wouldn't have made it through the first round, or I don't even know if I would have made it through my song, honestly. I think I would have been so overcome with nerves that I just maybe would have had one of those nightmare experiences where you get up there in front of everybody and then run away. But instead, I was completely prepared. I knew as soon as the music came on, muscle memory took over. And everything that I had practiced, everything that I knew when to breathe, I knew how to breathe. When the more difficult parts of the song came along, I wasn't like, oh boy, here it comes. I was like, and I was just able to do it. It was very well rehearsed. So I think rehearsal makes a huge difference.
How you felt before you started this whole thing and how you feel now. Can you talk about those two things?
Singing, well, before, so in 2015, well, I guess that's longer than 2 years ago. It was 3 years ago now. I'm a totally different practitioner of singing. I enjoy it so much more because I'm not nervous about what I sound like. I know what I sound like now, and I know that I think I was really worried about not sounding perfect because that's all I'd been exposed to was recordings of these really great artists. Now the process doesn't intimidate me really at all. I get really excited to sing. When you introduce a classical piece or a jazz piece or a musical theater piece, I get really excited about, ooh, what are we gonna do to make these notes happen? You can break down singing as much as you need to. And when you look at the whole picture, that was really intimidating. But when you break it up note by note, breath by breath, it's just like when you learn choreography in sections by 8 counts. It was very accessible that way. So going from the beginning to now, I understand the process a lot better now, and I'm less intimidated by what I sound like.
Has your family noticed any difference?
Okay, so my dad's father was the second violinist for the Boston Symphony and played with the Boston Pops in the summer. And so all of the children, and his mom was a classically trained opera singer and a pianist. And so growing up in his household, he was exposed to very classical music, and so he has this amazing ear. And so he's like, "Oh, you're really singing on key now," and "Oh, you're sounding really good." And so my mom, I'm not too nervous to sing in front of, and her family is also very musical. A lot of singers, a lot of guitar players. And so I come from a really musical background, but I never wanted to sing in front of my family. And the thing that they all notice now is that I always singing because I don't care now. I'm like, oh. So I would say the biggest thing is that I actually sing in front of people now. It doesn't intimidate me if there's a part that I'm auditioning for that has a lot of singing, which was not the case 3 years ago. If it was a role where there was going to have to be more singing than dancing, I probably just wouldn't have auditioned for it because that just seemed too big. But now I'm like, oh yeah, I could do that. I could do 32 bars of that. Or you need me to do a solo? Sure, I could do that. It's been a great transformation. When I go back and listen to how I sounded in 2015 versus how my recordings sound now, it's just the clarity is there. I don't sound hesitant. I sing now. I don't think so much about it, which is great. Because I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna sound awful. And I didn't sound awful, and now I know what I was doing and how much I've improved. So, oh, I wasn't breathing there. That's why that sounded that way. Or, oh, I was just really straining, and that's why I sounded like that.
Would you recommend to other people that they listen to the past recordings?
I do, because I think that it helps you with the singer that you are presently to remember what you started with. And it's very hard for artists, singers, dancers, any kind of performer to go back and with an open mind and not judge themselves too harshly. But it's a great learning tool because you can really see how far you've come, and you can really appreciate the work that you've put into it. And your product now versus then, you should be proud of it because and I think you only know that if you look back and you listen to what you had before, because you hear your own voice every day, so you don't really see the progress. It's like when you're with someone every day, you don't see how much they've grown, but then when you start to look back, you go, oh, this is completely different. I don't think that anybody should be nervous to explore singing. Singing is for everyone. We all have a different sounding voice, and I think that for me, that was the thing that I had to be okay with, is that the voice that I have doesn't sound necessarily like my idols, but I have a great voice, and it's it's so fun to use. So I would hope that people keep an open mind and they don't judge themselves too harshly and they really just give themselves to the process because it's so rewarding.